Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the UK League Championship Week 6, Day 2. My name is Jake Hitbrain Matthews, and I am joined by Dan Orcs Harrison. Now, yesterday, we saw two more teams getting knocked out of the running for the playoffs, but we've still got more to play for coming into today and tomorrow's next 2 games.
Yeah, there's still
next week's 2 games. There we go. Got it right.
Got there in the end. So still a lot on the line. Although there's a few teams, two now locked firmly into playoffs. They're still fighting for position, looking at the first place spot going into playoffs. And there are still teams fighting for that fourth place and even third place spot, actually. Fnatic Rising not locked in yet after the loss yesterday. We can actually take a look at the standings. You can see where everyone lies right now.
All right, so at the top it is BTXL with 11 points. Barrage in 9 points in second place. They both are locked into playoffs. There's no way either BT or XL Barrage will lose their spot in the playoffs. Fnatic Rising and Envision in third and fourth place. Still a little tentative for them. M&M in fifth place, hot on the heels of Envision, looking to try and secure some spots in playoffs. As Phelan, Demise, and Enclave, their hopes of making it to playoffs have been eliminated, unfortunately. Let's have a little look at today's games to see what is going on here at the UKLC, see who'll be playing versus who. So, we start today off with Barrage Esports versus BTXL. Then it's going to be Phelan versus M&M, Enclave versus Demise, then Envision versus Fnatic Rising.
Yeah, so a lot of stakes being set here. M&M need to win this game if they want to keep their playoff chances in their hands. And what I mean by that, if M&M win every game and Envision do as well, other than the matchup against M&M will force a tiebreaker and they can get into the playoffs of that. If they lose this game today, they can still make playoffs, but it relies on Envision losing more games, which is obviously not a position you want to be in. If Fnatic win, they lock in playoffs and at least third because of the head-to-head, because it keeps them safe from Envision. So pretty comfortable in that regard. But if they lose today, it does mean that Envision could potentially challenge for that spot later on, depending on how next week goes. The big one is the first match, which is BTXL up against Barrage. If Barrage win this match, they are still in the race to make first place. But BTXL need to also drop a game next week, which, considering their current streak so far, is a bit of a big ask. But I think
undefeated currently.
Yeah, I think beyond, though, just the fact that even if XL win 2-0 next week after losing this game and still maintain first, I think it goes a long way if Barrage can beat them. Because up until now, no one has. And it's pretty rough going into playoffs when you know there's a team who are undefeated, who no one's actually been able to take all the way. M&M got the closest, but you can always make the argument that, you know, they still didn't beat them. And coming into playoffs, BTXL are clearly going to put in a lot of preparation. So I think Barrage beating XL here, even if it doesn't get them first place, it sends a message and it sort of builds that confidence so much more. Because right now, if you end up facing up against them in the finals, it would likely be for Barrage because they'll be on the other side of the bracket. It would feel rough knowing that you haven't been able to take a single game off them.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this game though. Partly just because obviously Barrage, if any team's going to take out BTXL, it is going to be Barrage. You know, they have been looking really, really stellar throughout the entire of the season, but BTXL just seems to be a step above everybody else. I mean, we saw Fnatic Rising versus BT yesterday, and XL for them, it was like, there was like a moment where they started to look a little bit worrying, but they were just stepping back and kind of letting Fnatic kind of play in that power kind of spike they were in. And then as soon as that started to kind of peter out, they just took back over the game and control.
They did make a couple of mistakes. The key ones to highlight was Deadly getting caught out in a side lane. We've seen he typically likes to go there to get solo farm and XP. And Fnatic did actually punish that. So that's a key point because I feel like that's something XL specifically do that teams could look to take advantage of. And the other thing was Taxa getting caught out, pushing too far in the mid game, which did cost the Baron. And so that gave a window for Fnatic to take it. But ultimately, I feel like Fnatic's composition, the window to win the game was too thin. They didn't have priority in the early game, which made things difficult for Dan to get the ball rolling. And then when the composition spiked, sure, they found some momentum, but it quickly fell off into the later stages. But going into this one, I feel like the key player to watch is going to be Sybil. He did a ton of work for this team throughout. Even yesterday, we saw Kerberos going up against Flares, getting a solo kill with the Darius
Yeah.
And then it looked like that could have been a really disaster point for Barrage. Sybil dives him as the wave crashes into tower and essentially negates that entire lead. So I think Sybil has been arguably the best jungler in the league this split. He's been really intelligent with how he plays, and I think he could be the critical difference between their team and XL, finding advantages over Taxa, who has also been strong. I think obviously I've praised Ericsson a lot, but Special has shown he is extremely formidable. It might be difficult to find a difference there.
I mean, that's just how Special is, to be honest. Yesterday we did see Fnatic try to punish Deadly for his kind of farming heavy playstyle by kind of catching him while he was on his own in a side lane, and they were able to find a kill on him. It wasn't something they were able to repeat convincingly into Deadly. So Deadly did kind of just farm himself up into a point. But yesterday's game really came off Kasing on the Morgana, making sure that Deadly was alive, and then Special with some insane bombs and just zone control on the Ziggs.
And the critical thing was I feel like Draft gave XL a lot of advantages. They're on red side again. They have the position to go for that final counter. But we've seen a bunch of bans come in. So Set, Misfortune, and Ornn for Barrage, and then Aphelios, Senna, and Jarvan for BTXL. So Jarvan, a big pick for Sybil that he's lent on heavily, no longer available. And these top 3 AD carries, which are the peak S tier ones, have been taken off the cards. Now, the Soda is just a hover because that was what Flares played last time into XL. Didn't go too favorably towards him. But then they quickly lock in the Syndra, which could be flexed, but expected to go to Ericsson. And this is throwing the gauntlet down towards Special already.
Yeah, it really has. Now, for XL, what are they looking to pick up? Because we look at that Syndra, we look at the power picks that have been taken away so far. A lot has been denied either way.
So you could
what's
look
open, really?
You could look to punish the Syndra by going something like the Lee Sin LeBlanc. Alternatively, you could go Yasuo Gragas. Strong mid jungles that punish the immobility of the Syndra. You don't have to pick the Yasuo up right now. You can leave it till a little bit later. But the Gragas I like as a pick. It's a strong pick for Taxe. He's played it consistently for a long time, as long as he's been on XL. And with Jarvan off the table, I feel like it's definitely up there in terms of priority. It's going to be a bit of an interesting one. It's going to be the Callisto locked in.
We did see that top lane today from Shy in LPL.
It's technically a flex. So you can play at top lane. We've seen Flares sometimes a little bit vulnerable when playing against some cheesy things, as we saw with the Darius yesterday. So could use that to take advantage, but it can also go bot for Deadly. This could be the reason why they're happily banning away all this AD carries, because they have an alternative plan to go on the bot lane. And we've seen the Callisto particularly paired up with things like the Taric. So we see Barrage answer with a strong combination of the Pantheon and the Elise. The Pantheon can be flexed, as can the Syndra, but we have seen this sort of aggressive mid-jungle come out from Barrage, combining just the automatic stun from the Pantheon that can't be dodged. It's point and click, and then the Cocoon follows, and it allows Sybil to really find some momentum. Does make me think that maybe it will be a Syndra in the bot lane, and we'll see if BTXL want to answer with a Yasuo in the mid lane or something else.
All right, well, time is ticking here. It looks like the Fresh is going to get picked up, so could be the Shadow Isles bot lane for XL.
Very hard to punish. I think it's
very hard to punish.
And I like this adaptation into the Pantheon, because Pantheon often, when he finds an advantage, will look to ult down towards bot lane. If Sing's overextended, they have the ultimate Callisto to pull him in. If Deadly's overextended, they have the Lantern to offer that element of safety. So makes it very hard to translate pressure towards bot lane, which a lot of teams are keen to do, especially if you do put that Syndra bot. It's easy to typically set up. But we're in the second stage of bans. BTXL starting to ban out support, so Nautilus already taken off the table for Barrage. I could see them looking towards mid laners, maybe the LeBlanc is something. They feel like the Pantheon wouldn't be able to punish as much. Maybe just take away that Yasuo that we talked about.
Yep.
They're going to start with that one.
So for XL, what do we expect to see? Probably another support ban. They could look to ban away something like the Fresh. Not the Fresh. The Fresh has already been picked up. Something like the Braum. Something that can keep this Syndra safe. Now, normally you want something to kind of get Syndra out of dodge when you play a bot lane. Yeah, if they play a bot lane.
Probably not. Braum doesn't go too well with the Syndra, but
could this be a Pantheon Talia bot lane? Is that also an option here?
Yeah, in theory, this could actually be a possibility. So they could ban away the Talia in this situation, but they're just going to go for the Leona. I think Leona's the strongest aggressive combo with Syndra, because you're able to have so much burst to take someone out. We could have seen the Tahm Kench as a defensive option, but ultimately, seen the bans come through. It could, as you said, be a Talia Pantheon bot lane, and that's been left open, so it allows that element of flexibility. It does mean that you have an AP mid-jungle, but to be honest, I don't think that's too much of an issue as long as Special's not playing a tank. With Ornn off the table, I doubt he will. He could go something like the Galio, but it's not really the sort of pick we'd expect from Special. And we see the Fiora banned away as a potential split push option for Sendo, and now we're going to see the first pickup for a solo laner from BTXL. Assuming that is a Callisto bot lane, this can still be flexed. But everything else we expect to be firmly set in place with the Thresh in the support role and the Gragas in the jungle.
All right, well, they're looking to pick up the Zoe. So good blind pick here for Special. Doesn't really reveal too much as well that where the Kallista's going, what's going to go topside. There's still a lot open here for the side of BTXL.
Yeah, more of a comfort thing for Special. I think a lot of mid laners would take the LeBlanc in this situation if you're going for these top tier blind mids because it has a lot of safety. But Special is quite a big Zoe advocate and will take that one. Feels comfortable on the champion. So looking to hold up against the pressure from Barrage. And with Fiora banned away, that does leave Kled. It's one of the big counters, the Fiora into the Kled. So adding an element of engage, and so far Barrage, it's pretty early focused across the board, but they have a lot of engage and dive potential, which can very much threaten a Zoe and a Callista, because you need a little bit of space for Callista to kite around. If you're getting run down by a Pantheon and a Kled, you aren't really given that wriggle room. Now, this could be a Blitzcrank. It is a good matchup into the Thresh specifically and can punish him pre-6, but instead, Haddo's going to opt for the bars. So not as much aggression in the laning phase. You can obviously trade quite well with the double range matchup of Syndra and Bard, and you can layer the stuns. But mostly, the way this plays around with the Syndra is the Syndra looks to achieve priority because there's so much AoE sort of wave clear, and then allows the Bard to move around and secure advantages everywhere else. So Barrage heavily going for an early game focused composition, and BTXL, they're going to answer with the top lane. It could just be the Gangplank, but actually going to go for the Poppy into the Kled. So has that element of disengage, I think, is an aspect to know. If the enemy team is diving towards you, you can ult, knock them away, potentially deny that avenue of approach for Barrage.
Alrighty, well, the locks are locked in. The picks are locked in. There we go. Got it out eventually. Poppy top lane. Now, Poppy can't stop Kledar with her Steadfast Presence, can she?
No.
No, because you can't see him while he's doing it. So
no, but what it does mean is that if the whole team is swarming in on the back of it, you can't ult everyone else away, and it kind of leaves the Kled alone. Just certain sort of thing regarding Poppy is quite tanky and good at trading with melee champions in the early stages, a bit similar to Ornn. So can sort of hold her own in that lane matchup. Ultimately, this is a big difference from Barrage's composition before, because last time they played against XL, they found success in the early game, but the composition didn't translate well into the mid game. And when I felt they should be slowing the pace of the game down, as we saw XL do against Fnatic, they didn't. They kept forcing, and they ended up losing. Now here for Barrage, they have a composition that should do strong in the early phases, and then they can keep rolling on with that pressure into the mid game. This is a composition that you want to keep being aggressive, and there's no slow down, because if you do slow down, you're going to lose to the scaling of the other team. It's not as if XL have a ton of scaling champions, but just by how early focused the likes of the Pantheon are, the Kled eventually falls off, the Elise. This is a composition where Barrage need to be taking strides in the early game.
I hate to kind of hit on the same point over and over again, but being ahead of the curve is what's key here for Barrage. They want to get their item advantages and stay ahead of XL, because if XL can find themselves getting into the game, you know, Deadly just kind of hard farms up on the Callista. Suddenly, it's hard to pin the Callista down with the Thresh, with the front line of the Poppy and the Gragas to make sure that she's peeled for. Deadly can start to just get those Ren stacks up, and then when you do finally pull that, you can do so much damage, and it's got to be dangerous to play around that, especially when you've got special layering in poke as well. So for Barrage, it's about them playing early. Now, you hit on it lightly, but last time we saw these two teams play up versus each other, early game, Barrage did a good job of matching XL. They did let it slip through their fingers, though. But if they can play that early game, maybe a little bit cleaner than they did last time, it might just be enough to pull out the win here and defeat the undefeated. Can the Kings of the UK fool?
I think it's not even so much just the early game, because I think the early game was fine. It was the transition period into the mid game. Their composition really didn't hold up well. And what I've said for Barrage is when they can continue their pressure from early to mid game, they look really good. On the back of Sybil, this is a team who want to be aggressive. They don't want to be sitting back and waiting for the later stages. And this is a composition that allows that. They want to find leads in the laner phase. They want to translate that into finding picks on the back of their long-range engage ultimates like the Pantheon Grand Starfall and the charge from Kled, and then they can keep looking for picks, chain that into an early Baron, potentially an early Soul if they're stacking up dragons, and win off that. Whereas BTXL by no means can't match them in the early game. They could put a big stop on their plans if they're able to find some advantages. They have Taxa on Gragas, which is a fine ganking jungler, not going to be as promising as the Elise unless you're playing around that Predator, but even then, it's a long cooldown. And they have strength in other lanes like the Kalista Thresh in the bot lane, but for the most part, they are looking to play defensive, and you can tell that from their summoner spells. Having Cleanse for Deadly, Exhaust for Kasing, they know that they just want to sort of buy time and get to those stronger stages, especially pre-6, where Kasing is potentially a vulnerable target.
Now, we've seen Flares actually pull out the Kled already this season, if I remember right, as well. He had a pretty good game on that pick, if I remember absolutely perfectly. Now, Sybil actually going for a blue buff invade onto Taxa here. Taxa started up on his chickens. He was on a ward, so they knew where he was. So this might just be a 3 buff for the side of Sybil if Taxa doesn't read this right.
And that's the big thing. Because you start on the Raptors, sometimes we see junglers go buff to buff, and that would protect it, would stop Sybil from being able to invade. Because they saw his entire path, he's going for the full red side clear that we saw a lot last season when it offered more XP. He can recall here and grab boots, or he can just head to his bot side. But ultimately, it does put him in a disadvantageous position, because right now his top lane is losing in terms of priority, mid lane shoving in as well. If he tries to invade here, Sybil could just find him, kill him, and have his lanes react to cover. So Taxa definitely off to a bad start so far.
Sybil's looking to see if he can make something happen. Special cleanseless on this Zoe.
Pretty confident. I mean, it's the fact that Ericsson is taking cleanse up against a CC available.
Oh, looking to go. Gets a bit of a stun off, but the redemption from Special and the spell thief means he's going to be able to win that trade out.
Yeah, actually turned around pretty heavily thanks to the back of that redemption. Really quite balanced is what I'm going to say. But ultimately, Special is now shoving in, so he's put a ward down, but this didn't actually catch Sybil. It does now. So Sybil could have walked all the way around and actually evaded that ward, but fortunately for Special, he does walk back over it.
Oh, he's been spotted out twice now on that, but it completely cleared out on that side of the map. Does look like Taxa, he's just going to answer by getting his crab on the bot side.
Yeah, so Taxa did reset, grab the boots, so he has Predator available to him, but he's realized he's missed off a lot of this jungle. He has now seen Sybil, and because he's on his top side, he knows he can't go challenge for that red, so he will get triple buffed in this situation, but he's at least able to get that lower side Scuttle Crab. He's now waiting bot lane, and the reason why this timing is good is because of where the wave position is. This is now pushing towards BTXL, so Kev has to step up.
Flash into the hook, into the belly bop. The CC's too much, and first blood to Deadly.
Really nice gank, punishing the immobility of the Syndra, and that's why typically when you see Syndra bot, she's paired up with things like the Thresh to offer that safety net. It wasn't there, the flash in from Kasing, and Kevo didn't feel confident to flash because he feared the hook may follow, and then being without the flash is a really precarious position. He does TP back in though, so not going to miss too much farm, but given a kill already over to Deadly, a pretty big hit.
Sybil's going to try and steal away his camp here. Taxa's answering now by getting a few of these chickens in return. Sybil is using the pressure he has in his solo lanes to try and pull an advantage over Taxa. However, we were talking about how Barrage, they are the early game team. And at the moment, they're losing bot side. Flair's going for a fight onto Sendo. Sendo is going to be able to get the buckler to get himself a shield, but a lot of damage thrown out already. Kasing gets a 2-man flay off. Kevo instantly gets the stun off as a couple of members looking to chase, and it looks like Haddo may just die here. Deadly looking for some spears. Ren's not going to quite find his mark, and Kevo's going to be able to live. Bot lane's really, really struggling here, and Special has to flash mid lane.
Good gang coming out from Sybil, finally finds a success in the mid lane, but it's only a summoner burn from Special. No kills actually secured yet. And considering Haddo had to flash bot lane,
oh, they get the flash, they get the CC chain in. A lot of damage onto Special. He's flashless, he's got the heal though, and now he's looking to turn it around. Repel goes up, Special almost goes down, but they don't find the kill. Special even has a flash now from the spell thief, so he's feeling extra safe.
Heal actually coming in clutch there. The amount of life it gave back to Special allowed him to survive that engage. The full rotation from Sybil and Ericsson, just not quite enough to actually cut through him in this early stage of the game. They're going to look to pressure here. Haddo's here as well, but Taxa in a position to cover, and Special using the picked up flash he had available from Ericsson or Sybil, I'm not sure which, but one of them means he's able to get out safely.
I thought he was going to go portal jump for the other one there. Looks like a bit of a fight's breaking out here. Sendo jumping in. Flares actually uses the R there on top of that blast cone, just chasing each other down. Up goes the hammer, and Flares dodges it out as he dismounts, but now Sendo has got the wallbang off. He's got Sybil coming up. Flares is stacking up, looking for the rebound, gets the pocket pistol, flashes forward. Sendo clears the wall, and he lives.
Was a close one there. Ultimately, ult breaking the passive and not knocking him away could have been really disastrous for Sendo. But Flares, although he goes down, he actually ends up pocket pistoling away to remount, has to flash to close the gap, and Sendo just matches in terms of summoners. So not
now
too
they
bad,
just
but
turn
now,
it back around. That is the end of Flares.
XL find a lot of success so far. They got that kill on the bot lane. They get the kill on the top lane. Taxa doing a great job so far with the early pressure. Bear in mind, he's up against an Elise. He got triple buffed as well, and yet he's been able to make more pressure on the map so far than Sybil. A really solid start. Flair's going to TP in top lane, but you're not going to get anything out of that. And that critically means that Sendo's TP will be available sooner for him. He might miss some CS here, because Flares is going to shove him with a Tiamat. Not really much you can do about that, but the critical thing is TP timer for Sendo will be sooner, and we should watch when that comes up for how BTXL play around it. They're now 1,000 gold up. You can see a pretty big CS discrepancy built up for Deadly in the bot lane on top of that kill. But the counterpoint is Ericsson is ahead in terms of the mid lane matchup. Now has that serrated Dirk for a bit more damage to put out.
Feels kind of rough, though, for Barrage at this point, as you wanted to see them make some plays early. They're not able to find them, and BTXL are just calling them out on every play they try to make. Taxa doing so much more on this Gragas than Sybil's able to do on the Elise. Elise, all he's really been able to do is get Special's flash, and that is it. But for now, he might be seeing if they can find something onto Special in the mid lane.
Taxa's hovering is the critical thing. Special has a picked up heal as well, so not going to be able to threaten him in that situation.
Yeah, it's feeling nice and safe. Flair's going to go get a ward. Sendo pushes a wave in. This actually might deny Flair's quite a lot of CS here. Special just going to pick up his blue buff. Yeah, he's actually going to lose a fair amount of this wave. Flair's may just get the last 3 minions, last 2 minions.
But play going down in favor of Sendo can be pretty significant. That gold lead already in favor of XL. And just going to be more so. And remember, this is 10.4, so we did have the Sunfire buffs, which is why Poppy is going to sting a little bit more when she does use her headbutt.
And what do Barrage need to be looking to do now? We're 9 minutes into the game. The gold lead is 1,300 over to the side of BTXL. What does this early game team need to start looking to do? Where are we playing around?
Finding numbers advantages is, I think, is the critical thing. Right now, Sybil's just doing the Dragon, trading off the Herald pressure on the top side. All of XL are grouped together. I don't think you're really in a position to contest this right now. Realistically, you want to be finding numbers advantages using the power of, say, the ult from Flares or Ericsson to get into combat quickly. It looks like they might actually potentially contest this one.
Yeah, Haddo does have the Tempered Fate. Kevo's about as well. It looks like for now they might just step this away. The charge is coming down. The Q goes a little bit wide. This looks like it's time for the fight to break out. The Grand Starfall used by Ericsson. They catch a couple of members out on top of that Herald for the moment, as it looks like they're trying to find that steal. Everybody gets scattered by the cask, and XL find themselves the Herald. A massive scatter of the week by Kevo, though, does a lot of damage to the backline. Deadly has to flash over the wall. Taxa, he's going to be next, but Flares finds himself the kill. It's a 1 for Herald.
Ultimately, it's a nice fight from Barrage, but it's not enough. You get 1 kill trade, but you end up giving over the Herald to the other side. A lot invested for that situation. Well, the wave's being missed by XL on the bot side, and this is one of the issues with them grouping up all 5 members in that situation, whereas Barrage took a little bit longer. They got the Dragon, they pushed that wave in. All in all, I think that's fine for both sides. I think XL, it's coming down to how you're going to use his Herald after this. I think Barrage, the fact that they got the Dragon before that, kind of equalizes in terms of pressure. We are still looking for the momentum to come out for Barrage, and the critical thing is they now have their ults on cooldown. We're waiting again for Ericsson and Flares. Those two are the ones who can join a fight from a large distance pretty quickly, and I think finding numbers advantages against BTXL is a critical thing. I think one of the reasons that fight did start to struggle was a great ult from Sendo knocked, actually, I believe, Haddo away and made it a 4v5 for a bit of time. And also, a lot of damage was being focused onto Kasing, and he was then ulted away from Deadly, so that chance to kill him was essentially mitigated. And I think that's why things didn't go as favorably as maybe they could have looked to when they found that strong engage at the start.
Massive cast by Taxa as well. Meant there was no opportunity to steal the Herald, as everybody got pushed around from around the pit and out. But just kind of scattered anything Barrage wanted to do there. So BTXL doing a very good job to kind of mitigate their losses in that fight. Barrage, they need to look to try and repeat that, but maybe to better success in the future. Because at the moment, it's still a game heavily in favor of Barrage. 1,000 gold is the lead at 10 minutes. And starting to look at what items are getting picked up here. Deadly closing in on his Blade the Ruin King. Got the long swords, got the curved bow. So he just wants to get the Bilgewater Cutlass. And with his Herald getting used topside, the tankiness of Sendo is only going to get tankier now. As he's going to get a lot of gold funneled onto him.
Yeah, Reese actually coming out early here from Sendo. So not stay. No, he is. He's going to use Demolish. I think he needs to stay to finish that off. Ultimately, Flares there isn't able to defend because he had lost his mount. So pretty vulnerable to a dive. And they end up translating that Herald into a full tower. So pretty solid, but the return on the bot side is they're looking to punish, but
yeah,
Deadly has ult.
Scattered. They do have that ult, but they're trying to pull him in with a Tempered Fate. He dodges out, but now he gets himself concued. The Unleashed Power is available to Kevo. In goes the snare. Hado misses out. And he's going to take a magical journey away. Special looking to collapse, gets himself the bubble on. So that's going to be a bit of damage thrown onto Deadly, but Deadly's able to turn it back around with the help of Sendo, and all of a sudden Barrage's place got turned right around in their face. Kevo does get a Scat of the Week off to stun Sendo, but Sendo can look to run them down here. He's got boots.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to catch up with them before they get to the tower, but ultimately, this is the issue with playing into that Callista Thresh. Extremely hard to punish them. Barrage try to make it happen. They want to translate it into a tower to trade off against the one they lost topside, but they're unable to do so. Deadly able to get Kasing out of a difficult situation, and then a great knockup from Kasing buys Deadly more time. Good synergy between these two, and Barrage starting to struggle a little bit down in terms of that tower. They have picked up some plates top and bot, but that first tower gold goes a long way in the early levels. And we take stock of items now. A lot of people haven't finished their first completed item. We're seeing Deadly close to a Blade of the Ruin King. We're seeing Kevo and Special close to a Ludens. But already Sendo has that full Sunfire's cape available. So he's really hard to cut through right now, especially when you consider a lot of the champions on Barrage are quite bursty champions that aren't going to cut through a tank well. And Ericsson on the Pantheon is going lethality, which doesn't really do a ton to an armor stacking Poppy.
Yeah, it does also mean he's going to be really, really weak later on as this game goes, but for now he's okay. Still got a bit of time before he completely falls off the face of the planet, and looks like Barrage are looking for a pick. It's maybe Kasing, but Kasing wants to stay as close to Deadly as possible. Barrage trying to contest this one out as the hooks do get dodged out. Bubble does land. Cocoon will come up to follow. A lot of damage onto Sybil, though, as they unleash everything here. Taxa goes golden to dodge away from some of that damage, and now Sendo is just going to run Sybil through. Sybil goes down as Kevo gets jumped onto as well. Flares in the middle of 4, is trying to put the damage out. Has to flash the wall. Sendo finds himself a double kill. The slows with the burst coming down. Flares gets dismounted, and he's just going to get sent packing. That's a 2 for none in favor of BTXL.
Not really sure what the approach to this fight was. Ultimately, they end up with Kevo being trapped in the middle of so many members of XL. No way he was getting out. And Sendo is just too strong right now. He's so tanky, and he's still pumping out a really high amount of damage, considering he is a tank. He's 4-0 now, and he's just able to run over Sybil and Hado in that one. Barrage, we said they needed momentum. They needed to transition that into a strong mid-game. They haven't found that. They're behind significantly now. It's 15 minutes, and they're 4,500 gold down. The dragon that they picked up before has been equalized. BTXL looking really confident in this one, and I don't think there's a scaling avenue Barrage can take here. They need to start finding fights with numbers advantages, using the Pantheon ult, using the charge from Flares, because that one wasn't a numbers advantage situation. That was a straight up 5v5. You need to have an edge, because when there's so much gold in favor of XL, you're not going to win 5v5s.
I wonder if Deadly's going to be going down the Guinzu's road or the Hurricane road here on the Callista.
I think more typically we do see the Runans coming out, but could go either direction. Depend on the situation. I think when Deadly starts to get, I mean, he already has cleanse. When he's able to pick up a third item, which is a defensive, that's where things get really difficult, because if he does go, say, a Bloodthirster, for example, he has the cleanse as well. He has the safety, the fuel from Kasing. It's going to be very difficult for them to actually take him out in a fight.
Doesn't want to bubble here, but it's just going to look to jump away. A lot of damage dodged out there from Sybil. Special with a fancy feet is dodging away on a lot of this stuff, and now Sendo just looks to run Kevo down. He's going to do so much damage to him. Is that a tank or an assassin? Sendo just going to half health Kevo. Kevo has to burn so much not to get anything as Haddock gets interrupted inside the magical journey. Deadly finds himself the kill, and now Sendo 1 versus 3. He's going to try and get some damage off. The shield's fairly big and actually does a lot of damage in return, but he will die. A shutdown for Sybil, but they lose the Rift Herald topside.
Yeah, so a lot of gold going into their pockets on the back of Sendo going down. He was tanky, but not tanky enough in that situation. So a bit of a misstep from him, going too far in the enemy jungle, riding the wave of feeling invincible in this Poppy. But on the other side of the map, XL do pick up a kill and also get that Herald. Things aren't exactly looking good. Pings have just come out on that bot lane tower from XL. That is the target they're looking towards to use this Herald on. And I think now they're shoving in the wave on the back of Deadly and Kasing. They're resetting them. They're going to head bot lane. And I'm looking to see what Sendo does, because I don't think he needs to be top lane right now. The wave's pretty deep, so he can come and join and have a numbers advantage on the map right now. He's going to walk via mid and catch that one, and it's going to be all of XL looking to capitalize on this Herald. Actually, no, I think Sendo is heading back towards the top side. They're just going to catch that one. A critical thing is we look at the TP timings. Sendo's is coming up in about 30 seconds. Flares has quite a while to wait, so it kind of gives that safety net for any plays XL want to make, because Flares has to start moving first if he wants to join in on the fight.
Wave getting pushed up on the bot side here by Deadly. It is Kasing with a Herald, so it's going to fall down as Ericsson. He's the one to answer out, but he does need to be careful. He's a very squishy Pantheon as the Tempered Fate actually will interrupt the charge. That was really clever there. Although actually, I think he timed that wrong.
Yeah, I think that still got a
that
charge
did the damage.
there.
Yeah. Timed it a little
bit scuffed.
A little bit too early, unfortunately.
Oh, ult's coming in.
Sybil does find some damage. So actually, they're looking for Special here. Special has to flash the wall. Ericsson chases after, comes in, finds himself the shutdown as Taxa gets jumped onto by Flares now. Tax has to flash the wall. Kasing throws out the lantern, and Barrage looking to go in for this numbers advantage. You were talking about the magical journey into the Flay. Deadly's pumping that damage out, though. He's found himself one already. He's onto Flares. The exhaust has been used. Flares gets dismounted, and Deadly just continues to pump the damage out. Finds himself a double kill. Kevo has to flash away. Deadly's an animal right now, and Ericsson's getting 1v1'd by Sendo. Ericsson has to run away from the base. Taxa's looking for more. In goes the belly bop. The flare comes down, and Taxa finds the kill. Ericsson will fall to Sendo momentarily as the damage is just too much. BTXL find the ace.
And just a massive miscalculation coming out from Barrage. They find that pick great, taking advantage, but then they try and force the fight off the back end. Despite Taxa flashing away, getting on the tower, they still take that magical journey. And there wasn't anything magical about it. That was a faceplant straight into all of XL waiting, and critically, Deadly went untouched there. He's able to see everyone come in through the magical journey. It's a perfect setup for him for the kite around the team fight and put in that sustained damage. And it's put XL even further ahead. Now 6k gold up, and we can look at the item differences starting to come out. We have the Blade of the Rune King and the Runans for Deadly. I believe he's going for the Hex Drinker next to sort of mitigate the burst from Kevo and Sybil. There's the Mikhails for Kasing, so even if the cleanser's down, they can still remove CC. It's just really not looking good right now for Barrage. We said they had an early aggressive win condition. They've missed the ball on that already. They still can't find an avenue in, but it needs to come on these small picks. You get a pick, you say, great. What can we do?
They tried to find it. Special's able to walk it out, though. Doesn't have to burn a summoner spell either. And this is the thing. It's the polar opposite of last time Barrage played XL. Barrage played a scaling comp and went toe-to-toe with BTXL early. This time they've gone for a early game comp, and they haven't been able to match BTXL early. BTXL, like you said, they don't really have as much scaling. There is no team with like a hard scaling team here, but
they
BT do outscale right now.
For sure. And right now they're super far ahead of the curve. Deadly's feeling very hard to challenge right now. It's essentially going to come down to picks for Barrage. You need to find someone isolated and alone, because if you go into a team fight and Deadly is there, it's very hard to kill him on the back of the cleanse and the fact he has a big item advantage. But on top of that, if you don't kill Deadly, he will just destroy your whole team. I mean, yeah, Sendo, I mean, you just can't touch him.
Sendo's an animal right now. He's got the buildings of his Iceborne. Yeah, Iceborne Gauntlet. So with that Sheen proc, he's just doing so much damage. He's able to 1v1 flares like it's nothing.
No one can do any damage to him at this point. I really feel like anyone in Barrage would get solo killed by him. if he's able to pin them down for long enough. And that's a critical thing. The sustained damage of Barrage isn't very good. They're looking for burst. They're looking for quick, blow someone up, that's it. Extended fights favor XL a lot more.
This could be that burst. They're looking for Deadly. They find the damage on to Kasing. Gets pulled in by the Fate. And now Kasing jumps back in, gets himself a hook. That was just sexy. Tries to get the rappel off. The Magical Journey gets 2 more out. And oh no, it's just going so wrong.
You can't make a pick in that situation. You go on Kasing, there's the ultimate from Deadly to get him out of this situation. You go for Deadly, he has cleanse. There is no winning there, and I don't feel like you can punish this bot lane. XL did well to draft this for themselves. It's allowed Deadly and Kasing to go essentially unscathed, and their KDA reflects it. 0 deaths between them. 9 kill participation as well. It's really hard to do anything to this bot lane. And right now, XL just going more and more aggressive.
Yeah, bubble comes out. They're trying to get some damage onto Kevo. Hook almost finds its mark, as this will be the second to last outer turret going down. Only one in the bot side remaining now. Outside of the base of Barrage. BTXL just playing flawlessly right now. He seems so strong, and this is not what you'd think of when you think of a first versus second seed game.
That's a worrying omen looking towards playoffs, because XL are looking really untouchable here. Now, the game's not over yet. Really going to take a big miracle if Barrage are going to come out ahead. A Baron steal, potentially, is something that could swing the Golden F favor, or just a great team fight where someone missteps. But again, that's hard to do. Specials flash is coming up soon, and obviously a Zoe in a team fight can end up chaining summoners. You flash on her, she can flash away, take yours, flash even further. And Deadly, I mean, having the cleanse and the Mikhails from Kasing just means, and now with the Hex Drinker as well, very difficult to really do anything to Deadly in this situation.
"23 minutes on the clock. The gold lead just way too far ahead here for BTXL.
Medjoy's coming up for special, currently at 0 stacks, but that's a confident buy if ever. Deadly trying to go forwards on Kevo, but he should be able to...
Oh, the hook! Kasing lands it, and don't take it. It's a bit too bait.
I would have loved to
see.
see...
That was still so sick.
I'd love to see him go in there, throw the lantern. It definitely would have been int, but it would have been great to see. Kevo getting challenged there by special.
Yeah, he wants to get those stacks. Kevo gets absolutely chunked out by Special. Special just dealing with these waves here in the mid side. Now Special maybe looking for something onto Haddo. Just portal jump forward, gets himself a bubble off. As
I think he's just dead.
He has flash. He's going to take it. Gets himself the solo kill. Special's just got the fancy feet. That's 1. Not going to find 2. Kevin's able to make his way out. The charge is coming down, and actually, meanwhile, a fight is breaking out topside. They're still chasing for more in that mid wave, though. Kasing's going to get zoned away. Special trying to find himself more, gets himself the damage down, and in comes the sleep. In comes the backup. Sybil flashing forward, finds himself the kill onto Special now, as Deadly has entered into the fray. Kasing not going to find the hook, as the flash is just too much, and BTXL coming up massive. Flash over the wall. Kasing with a lantern brings Deadly in, and another ace over to the side of BTXL. Actually, Barrage do keep Sybil.
Yeah, but it was a lot burnt just to try and get Special, but Special was just playing like a monster there. Takes out Haddo, finds Kev on the back end. Yes, he does die to Sybil, but 4 members of Barrage down. The base has been broken, that inhibitor tower taken out. It's really looking rougher and rougher right now for Barrage. It's almost 10,000 gold down. BTXL looking to get the Scuttle Crab so they can reset. They don't want to leave any chance of Barrage rushing this Baron. It's the only way they really get back in the game. You can see the gold scores in front of you. The big difference is between Kevo and Deadly on this Callista.
Oh my
4,000 gold up. And he's been able to farm up a Storm. He's past that 10 CS per minute point, obviously with the Runans, really quick at clearing waves. But you have this massive Callista to deal with. And you have so much peel, so much protection. And you saw when Deadly joins a fight late like that, Barrage just run out of steam. They don't have anything to throw towards him, so they just have to run away.
Well, the resets have come in. Let's see what they've started to buy up here. Is the Maw finished up straight for Deadly, so nice and strong. Has that magic shield to work with. Haddo's just getting assassinated by Sendo.
Triforce actually coming out for Sendo, so I do see this sometimes from Poppies for a bit more damage. Obviously, he won't be as tanky, but I think he already is very tanky at this point.
I think when you're that far ahead, he's still too tanky. He's got so much damage, and they're onto the second Infernal Drake for themselves here. BTXL looking to get themselves onto Soul Point, but at the pace this is going, they may not even need to find Soul to win this game. One good team fight, and they can close the game out as they're looking here for Ericsson. Deadly's popped the ultimate. Gonna throw them in. They're gonna look for the cocoon. Does land onto one as this is the fight breaking out. Everybody on the side of Barrage just peeling away for the moment. The Tempered Fate catches a couple of members out. Haddo is low in the middle of everyone, and Sendo will find the first kill of the fight. Guys, gonna be another one for Deadly as they find Kevo. A double kill for Sendo. Barrage just sent packing, running to the wind as Sendo charges forward. He's just playing with his food.
And there's nothing really they can do. Deadly untouched. Sendo feeling invincible. They'll take the inhibitor here. They're not going to go for the Baron because the jungler's down. They might even potentially be looking to end. I think it's a little bit concerning.
Deadly's got a pot. He's actually got quite a lot of additional damage now.
Yeah, it's actually 5 seconds on how to defend. Sibyl's just recall. They have a wave, but they're looking to clear it.
Yeah, using the Grand Starfall here. It's time to fight. Instantly hooked. Ericsson has to cleanse. Bubble goes out. Sibyl's going to dodge away on that one. And it looks like this should just be enough to get Barrage out. Sendo takes the Lantern to safety. And Barrage, they really want to go for this. They're teleporting in. They're bringing in the boys. Barrage trying to find that damage, but Flares is just getting cut through by Deadly. Kevo's also teleported onto the backline. Deadly's found himself one already. He's looking for another. Down. The shutdown's there for Kevo. In comes Special. He needs to tidy this fight up. Sender's looking in. The hook will connect, and BTXL turn it around. They don't need their carry. Sendo gets scattered and stunned, but now Kevo is so far away from safety, so far away from his base, and they are just looking to run him down. Another scatter of the week is going to be enough, but they've got the Lantern, they've got the hooks, they've got the CC. Kevo will fall, and that's Kasing finding his kill.
And although they take down Deadly, they have to invest so much, they run out of steam. There's still Special putting out damage. There's still Sendo, who's invincible, but dealing a lot of damage to Barrage. And at this point, it's really feeling pretty doomed. They're going to respawn in time to defend their base. But XL over 10,000 ahead now. Soul Point up in a few minutes, and that Baron's still on the cards. Deadly respawns. He's now got a Guardian's Angel as well. Rough state for the game to be in.
.28 on the clock. And it's hard because you want to kind of pull up what Barrage can do, but at the moment it's feeling like it's exceptionally rough for them to find anything into this game. Obviously, they still have pick potential with their comp. You've got a lot of burst damage in a lot of these members, and the ability, like you've said multiple times, to kind of bring people into the fight with the Grand Starfall and the charge.
Especially difficult now there's a Zhonya's for Special. There is one for Taxa as well. So if we go through the targets, Taxa, Special, both have stasis available. Deadly has GA. Andy has the safety of Kasing. Kasing has the safety of Deadly, and Sendo is just invincible. They're going to start the Baron up. This could potentially be the fight you have to take. If you lose this, the game likely over. So Barrage, they're just going to commit.
Oh, Sybil gets chunked instantly. The orbs are getting placed by Kevo. Predator's on. The Tempered Fate is going to catch them out as Special gets interrupted by Flares, and already Sybil's annihilated by Taxa. Special's over the wall, just firing out damage, and the Baron is back on. Gonna get the ultimate coming down from Sendo, interrupted by the Baron, and that is gonna be Baron Nashor over to the side of XL. Kevo does dodge away on the hook, but can't dodge away on the flay. Magical Journey will get him away though, as Taxa, he's just chasing for more. Instantly find the blow up onto him though. Jungler down. Meanwhile, Special just lands some damage, almost gets himself the Sleepy Bubble onto Flares, as Sendo and Special are gonna try and put this damage out, as Kevo does do a lot of damage. You have to be a bit scared of him.
Oh, but the Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands onto Flares. He's dismounted.
The buff was actually just completely blocking Special from being able to do much there. Oh, Haddo.
Oh, actually.
Oh, hello.
No, he's dead.
No, he's so doomed.
Or is he?
No, the cleanse
was actually mistimed. The cleanse was actually early, so only reduced the duration, but does not save Haddo. He goes down, and it feels like Barrage are clutching at scraps right now. It's a minute on that Infernal Soul. When a team is already 12,000 up with the Baron, you don't want to give them that one, but you may not have too much of a choice. Tax are going to respawn. The bot lane of XL looking to reset, I believe. Yeah, they have just channeled it, so they will go back to base. They weren't going to stay to try and get a pick. And Barrage, they've shown that they can blow someone up if they misstep, if they catch them in a CC chain. The problem is, the members they're able to punish are Taxa and Special. Sendo just still feels invincible. He now has a Phantom Dancer as well for that shield and even more damage and attack speed. That's a pretty confident build. And on top of that, The bot lane, oh, they're going in.
Oh, they've got themselves a bubble. This is the fight, knocking everyone into the wall as Deadly gets himself the kill. He's chasing for more. A double kill for Deadly. Not going to find that triple kill as he is denied. Actually gets himself in for that one. That is Taxa stealing away the Quadra. We're not going to see a Penta right now, but Hado, he is just running to the wind. Special chasing him down, looking for the bubble, flashes away from some of that damage.
He gets him.
Actually, Hado finds a shutdown as he finally falls. XL looking dominant in the game today, smashing Barrage open. Their loss to M&M maybe got into their heads a little bit. 31 minutes on the clock, and BTXL smash Barrage.
And this was not a close game. I think domination, smashing, it's the only really thing you could say. They're looking to try and get a pick. The first respawn is going to be Sybil, so he can just rappel up if he's quick enough.
Oh, they mistimed everything.
Actually, the inhibitor respawned.
Wait. XL, come on.
Playing with their food a bit.
Yeah, they are really playing with their food right now. It's still so far ahead that that play doesn't feel like it's actually costing the game, but it may have just bought us some time. Teleport's coming in. Sendo's done. He wants to be finished with this game. He's going to charge forward. Gets the hook on to the back line. Now Deadly trying to put that damage into a couple of members. Sybil just getting chunked out. It's a big old team fight, and it looks like for the moment they are going to find some damage onto Deadly, but he still has the Guardian Angel. He's just going to hop forward with the Lantern Flares in the middle of the team as Sendo gets himself a double kill. He's looking for more. He's going to be stealing away by Deadly, though, as a hook does come out from Kasing. The scatter of the week was big, but it wasn't big enough. Kevo's trying to put the damage out, but that is going to be the game. 32 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
33.
Delayed a little bit because they were padding the KDA stats, but ultimately they managed to find the win. It was a dominant performance coming out from XL. Barrage went for a heavy early focus composition. They didn't find that advantage. It felt like Taxa played a beautiful early game on this Gragas. He showed in that game at least that he was a better jungler, and it led his team to success. And I really like the draft that came out, the Kalista Thresh in the bot lane. It meant that when Barrage tried to translate that pressure towards bot, they just failed time and time again. Sendo became a monster in the Poppy. It's our first place team making themselves look like the first place team, but it sets a worrying precedent for playoffs, I think, is the big thing. The fact that Fnatic and Barrage have just lost to them. Fnatic at least put up a fight.
It was at least closer. Deadly had a 6,200 gold lead there on Kalista over Kevo. That was just so far ahead.
And the two things to note from this is, one, this is going to mean that XL have locked in first place going into playoffs. And two, I don't want to call it right now, but next week, XL play Enclave and Phelan. We need a huge upset if XL aren't going to go 14-0 in this season. It's looking pretty likely at this point. It's still a possibility that they get denied that next week, but XL firmly setting themselves top of the table.
Yeah, XL are just looking absolutely disgustingly strong here in the UKLC, looking to go undefeated in the spring split. Now, we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back with game number 2, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break.